Hi everybody, it's Tommy Jo from Bird Street Studio. I'm back with a continuation of our Fantasia journal. I really was struggling with how to do the cover, what color I wanted. I do have fairly limited fabric options here in my stash, and I didn't necessarily want to go out and buy new. So I decided, because it's so colorful, I decided on this fabric here. And then we'll make a topper for it, but this will be the front. So I'm going to move this off and kind of show you what I did. I originally cut cardboard for the covers, and then later I decided to add some lace, and the lace did extend the cover a little wider, so I did cut new cardboard. But I'm going to show you how I put my covers together. So let me get my tape. Okay, so basically my journals are 8.5 by 5.5 pages folded in half, okay? And in this case, if you, let me get a ruler. If we measure, okay, we are at 8.5 long. So normally I would make a cover that's about 8 3/4, and I think I ended up making this 8 7/8, just to give us a little more space. And they are 5.5, but with the lace, it does stick out a little further. So you know that I use all my old cardboard, so I cut two pieces that are 8 7/8 long by 6.5, and 6.5 should take us out to about here, which should be the outside of the lace. So I think that'll work fine. So what I do first is I take my two pieces and my spine. I had originally cut them all out of this cardboard here, and then I had to make these a little wider. So, but basically I don't leave my cardboard intact and fold, because I need a little bit of space in between the spine and the covers. So I normally, I want to make sure I stay in camera, but so I'm just lining up this bottom. Okay, I'm going to leave a little bit of a space in between. And then I use linen hinging tape, and I do that because I used to mat my artwork, and so I had a bunch of it on hand, a lot of it. So I've been using it, and it's really strong. You can use whatever you like, but this is what I'm using, is hinging tape. So basically I'm just going to measure the piece to match the size of the cover, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And we're going to need two of them. Okay, so these are like a peel and stick, and it's always easiest if you do it this direction. So I'm going to bring this to here, and then I'm going to leave just a little tiny bit of a gap there. I'm trying to get my tops and bottoms matched. And then this, you peel it. Now I actually could probably cut this in half and use it, but I just feel better that I've got the whole piece. And I'm going to lay that right at the top. There we go. Okay. and then that way it'll move easily. So now I'm going to add the bottom piece and do the exact same thing. Okay. All right. So basically that's our cover right there. Okay. Now, because I had to cut the fronts bigger when I cut the material, I had smaller covers. So normally where I would leave about an inch or a little better on the top and side, my sides are not going to be as wide, and that's okay. As long as I have enough, I'm good, because we end up covering those anyways. So what I do first is I do use Fabri-Tac and a card. Let me find one. Here I can just use one of my silicone brushes. And I want this to stick to the material. But I don't want gobs of it because it will go right through, like right through the material. So you want to make sure you can also use the Aleene's tacky glue. That works well as well. And so I'm just going to put a line here. And it doesn't have to be over the whole thing. I can spread the glue out. So it's not going to be solid glue. Okay, so I'm going to take my silicone brush and I'm just going to kind of flatten it. I just don't want gobs of glue. Okay, I'm going to turn it over and try to kind of center it in here. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it over and I want to really press. And because I don't have a lot of glue on it, it's not seeping through the material, but it's going to be enough to hold it nice and flat, and it will adhere to that cardboard pretty well. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say is, in this case, I put the pattern side of the cardboard down because you cannot see through this material. But if you have a lighter material, or sometimes if I use muslin or something for a background, I'll put the printing on the inside because I'm going to cover that with paper anyways. Okay, so then we want to just cut a little off here, cut a little off there. I just want to make it so I don't have a lot of material to fold over, but in general, you know, a lot of people cut really close to this point. I don't do that because a lot of times when I used to try to do that, I could never get the cardboard totally covered. So this is what I do here. Now I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here on the corner, and the same for this one. And then I'm going to go right down this edge. Okay. I'm gonna kind of move this and let that fold up because I need to show you what I'm doing. I'm folding this in right here, and I'm going to hold it and do the same with this one. I'm going to hold it because I need it to stick down. Okay, and then I want to take a little glue and just make sure that my edges are tucked there. And then I'm going to push this side up. Like that. I'm going to do the same thing to this other side, and I don't know how well you can see it, but basically I'm just pulling it up. I'm pulling this up and then folding this over. So I want a little glue out here on the material so that that corner will stick in and down. So I want this little triangle part to make sure it sticks down as well, like that. And then I just start in the middle and I'm going to push it up nice and tight. I'm going to tuck this in as well. And do the same on the other side. So then, once I have those done, if I open and close it, it's really fairly tight, but not so tight that it buckles the cardboard. And now I can do the other side, the top and the bottom, the same way. So what I'm going to do, if you can see this, is I'm going to put a little glue in here, like that, and a little on this side as well, just to hold those down. And then you can put it on the material or you can put it on the cardboard. Okay. Let's start in the center. And I'm not too worried about the corners because remember, we're going to cover the inside with paper. But I want them to be as neat as we can get them. Now I haven't picked out a color for the other journal because I'm doing another Fantasia journal as well. It's a little different from this one. I haven't put lace in it, so I don't think I'm going to add lace. Look how pretty that is. And the colors just match our journal so pretty, look. Look at the colors. I mean, just beautiful. So I think it was a good choice for this one. Okay, so now we're going to cover the inside, and I looked and looked for paper. You want a firm paper, either, you know, a heavyweight like cardstock paper or just a thicker paper. 20-pound bond probably is not going to work well, won't hold up well. But I was struggling with a color, so I think I'm going to go with this coral color. And then we can add pockets to it, like, you know, something like this. And I think that'll be really pretty. But it's a heavier weight paper. So with that in mind, I want to cut it just shorter than the covers. So if you remember, our cover here was about 6.5, okay? So we're gonna maybe make it 6.25 by 8.75. Okay. And you want to be aware of a design if there is one. This one, not so much, really. So we want to do 6.25. And we can make it smaller if we need to, but you don't want to cut it too small. 6.25 by 8.75. Okay. Then we want to do, we need 2 of those. Let me see what direction I put it in. Okay, so it goes this way. So I want 6.25. By 8.75. There, these are our 2 insides, and then we need a spine. So we're going to take one of these pieces here, and our spine is, right now our spine measures about 2 inches, but we want it to go over the spine, okay? So we're going to make it, maybe if we do 3 inches, that gives us a 1/2 inch on either side. I think we're going to do about 3.5. So we need this to be 8.75. That's the length of the journal. And we want it to be 3.5 wide. Okay. So those are our pieces. Okay, so we're going to bring our cover back, and I wanted this to be the front and this to be the back. I'm going to cover that. Maybe I'll make this the front, because this will not be covered, and it's got a lot of that pinkish color. Well, either way, so I'm going to lay it like this. So the first thing we want to do is lay our spine piece down and see how we, in terms of how we cut it, is good. Now we need to score this somewhat. So if I lay it here, okay, then I can mark it, not with that, I can mark it with our pencil here and our pencil there, and that's where the edges are. So that's what I want to score. Remember, it's going to fold this way, so if I score it here, that'll be a valley, and we need to make it a mountain. So I'm actually got to score it the other side. So I'm just gonna, okay, so I want to score it this way. This is so funny because I watch people score and they just go, psst. I'm not so good at that. Now hopefully, if we fold this, it should fit on there perfect. I hope. It's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to erase these marks that I made originally. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this. So I need to have my glue book over here and all my stuff out of my way. And I'm going to go ahead and use this tacky glue. So then I'm going to use my silicone brush to flatten that out and get it to the edges. Okay. So I want to hold this up, and then I want to make sure that I'm in the crease there. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing to this side. Okay, once we have that in, then we can lay our other pieces in, and they will go right towards the edge like this. And what I'm trying to do is line up the edge of the top and the bottom. I think that's perfect. So let's go ahead and glue that. Just trying to go around and make sure I've got glue all the way out to the edge. That helps the edges stick down. Okay, and then we want to do the other one as well. And that will be our inside cover. And you do want to make sure that all your edges are down. There. Okay. And at this point, if you'd like, you can sew around the edge. I don't think I'm going to do that because I kind of just like it the way it is. But I think what I'm going to do before I put it together and sew my signatures in, I think I'm going to make like pockets for the here and here, and we'll get those in first. And I want to use paper from the digital, but I want it to be sturdy. I actually kind of thought I might put an envelope here, so I'm going to think about that and we'll come back. But basically then once we get those in and we put our signatures in, then we have this beautiful journal. I think it's going to be really pretty. So that's all I wanted to show you today. In the meantime, I'm going to print out a couple more digitals and make the pockets for the front and the back. And I may or may not sew the signatures in on camera. I'm not positive yet. But we'll be back. I wanted to show you how we do the cover. And thank you so much for watching, joining me today while I do this. And like and subscribe. It helps my channel grow always. I appreciate it. And if you have any comments, please leave them below. I love to read comments. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.